And hello, everyone. This is Rich Sports Talk. Thank you so much for joining us here. And we have breaking news. The New York Jets have acquired Shaq Lawson, the defensive end from the Houston Texans, for a 6th-round draft pick in 2022. Basically, the best way I can put this for Jet fans, remember Jordan Willis? Well, the Jets traded him for a 6th-round pick. They used that pick to acquire Shaq Lawson. The Jets had 3 6th-round draft picks going into the 2022 draft, and Joe Douglas flips one of them for a former 1st-round pick in pass rusher from Houston. This is a great move by Joe Douglas because, let's be honest, I kept hearing rumors that, and I get what Jet fans want. Jet fans wanted the big pass rusher, especially after the Carl Lawson injury. But I said this in the last episode. I didn't see Joe Douglas spending a premium to get a guy like a Chandler Jones. You know, like some of these guys I was looking at going, these teams are going to want at minimum a 2nd or a 3rd round pick. And Joe Douglas in the middle of this rebuild, he's not going to do that. If anything, he's going to spend a lower draft pick to try to get someone in or look in the waiver wire. Like, to be fair, I don't think the Jets are done. One of the things I said in the last episode, and I still think this is a distinct possibility, is keep an eye on Atlanta and keep an eye on Philadelphia and San Francisco. The Jets have a lot of ties to those 3 programs. If one of their pass rushers or backup pass rushers gets cut for roster space, which is a possibility, or they're looking to move off of someone, and the Jets could maybe swap another late round pick to get a decent pass rusher, take a shot at pass rusher, don't be surprised. But getting back to this move, I think it's a great move by Joe Douglas. Low risk, high reward. If it pans out the way the contract is structured for Lawson, the Jets can get out of the contract at the end of the season. No problems. But he's also locked in until he's 30 years old. The contract runs through 2023 if the Jets choose to go that option. He's not an unrestricted free agent until 2024. But once again, this is a great move for a guy who, let's be honest, has been a bit of a disappointment. 20.5 sacks. His best season came in Buffalo in 2019 with 6.5. Has had some injury problems, but I also think he is going back to a role where he fits. He's a bit of an undersized defensive end at only 267 pounds, but I didn't think he really fit what they were trying to do. You saw that he was an outside linebacker in the Dolphins scheme the year before. They traded him to Houston. Houston, in turn, has now traded him to the Jets. And look, the Jets are getting a guy who also could be motivated. I mean, he played in Buffalo. Buffalo took a shot on him and gave up on him. That could be extra motivation. And you have a very good defensive coordinator in Jeff Ulbrich and a guy who is a defensive coach in Robert Saleh. Maybe they can unlock this guy. This kind of reminds me of a bit of why they went after Carl Lawson so hard in free agency. Now, they're not related. I know they have the same last name. But Lawson wasn't a huge sack numbers guy per se. But if you looked at his PFF grades, if you watch the tape, he was disruptive in the backfield, getting around the edge. Could this be a situation where Saleh sees someone like that, where this is a guy where if he can stay healthy, which has been an issue, but if he can stay healthy, is this a guy who he's close, but just needs a couple of tweaks, and then it can be a very good edge rusher? Maybe the Jets can unlock him. You never know. And even if he only does what he's been doing in his career, on average, you're basically looking at about 4 or 5 sacks a year on average from Lawson. If you could get that from a 6th-round pick, you would be jumping for joy. So really, if the Jets even get the minimum production or what he has been, and he is at best a situational pass rusher that gets a handful of sacks this year, you're still not giving up anything significant for him. And you're also showing this team that, look, we're invested in this year. This is a rebuilding process, but Joe Douglas is showing, look, we're not just going to roll over. Like, we're still going to be aggressive. We're still going to try to look to improve this team. And like I said at the start, I don't think this is going to be the only move. I could see another move where maybe they go after another veteran, give up a low draft pick like this to take a shot on someone, or even look at the cuts. Like I said, they have a lot of ties to San Francisco, Philadelphia, and Atlanta. And especially with Philadelphia and with San Francisco, those teams have very good defensive lines. They're probably going to look to move or cut one or two players. So don't be surprised if you hear more news about the Jets making those moves. But I really like this move. I think Lawson is a good player. And I remember when he was taken in the 2016 draft. The 2016 draft was a really weird draft. There was a lot of good picks that went in the second, third, and fourth round. But I remember when I covered that draft, really looking at it and going, there really was a huge drop off after you got through the first 5 or 6 good players in that draft. There really was a huge drop off. And it was one of those drafts where that was the draft where the Jets actually selected Darren Lee with the next pick, actually, for a little bit of history for you Jet fans. And it just felt like if you were picking between 10 and 50, no matter what guy you picked, it really was a roll of the dice. It really was. You can say that about every draft, but there was a lot of guys you went, okay, Will Fuller, Artie Barnes, Paxton Lynch. I mean, really the best pick after in the second half of the first round was Kenny Clark, the defensive tackle of the Green Bay, went 27th. But there was a lot of guys, like you looked at that draft after pick 10, even like pick 10, the Giants went with Eli Apple. You're going, wasn't the best draft. Let's just say that. Very good at the top, but once you got past like pick 8, there was a lot of, okay, it's going to come down to fit and it's going to come down to a lot of luck. So once again, I think Lawson was overdrafted. I think in most drafts, he would probably be a late first round pick, second round pick. Because don't forget, he didn't have a good combine. He ran a 4.7 in the 40-yard dash. Not exactly great for a pass rusher. Not bad, but not, wow, this kid's an incredible twitch athlete. But this is a player, he's familiar with this division. He was with the Dolphins and the Bills in his career. So this is a guy who knows the division well. He knows the quarterbacks. And really, this is a great opportunity for him to really get an opportunity because in this defense, especially as the wide outside defensive end, which he's likely going to play, you're just trying to get around the edge, use your speed, and you really are trying to get a lot of one-on-one matchups. And I do think Saleh is going to try to do that. So this could be a great opportunity for him to really reinvent his career. Like, don't forget, he's still young. He's 27 years old. He just turned 27. So he's got a lot of upside potentially. In the very worst case, like I said, if you look at his career, on average, he's good for at least 4 or 5 sacks a year. Even if he's just a situational pass rusher, and in the next 2 or 3 years, if the team decides to keep him, even if he just has a niche role as a situational pass rusher, you can't have too many pass rushers, and that is a nice luxury to have. Right now, it's a necessity for this team, but I think long term, if they can really unlock him, best case scenario maybe becomes another bookend when Carl Lawson comes back next year. But at the very least, this could be a nice rotational pass rusher that you can bring in 10, 12 plays a game, helps boost your pass rush. Isn't going to have the gawky stats, but you gave up a 6th-round pick. Most 6th-round picks go to the practice squad or they get cut. And you're getting a guy who has first-round talent that can help improve your pass rush. So, brilliant move by Joe Douglas once again. This is why I really think he's doing a great job as a general manager, especially with the trades. He goes after guys who have high ceilings, but he goes after guys that don't have a lot of character concerns. Now, Lawson, there's some injury concerns, but really, character-wise, there's not any major red flags that you worry about. And you say, look, high end, maybe the Jets can unlock him and he can look like a first-round pass rusher. At the very worst case, they gave up a 6th-round pick for him. The Jets franchise is not folding on a 6th-round pick. And for most 6th-round picks, like Jonathan Marshall, who I thought had a great camp for the Jets, they're going to be on the practice squad. So the Jets gave up nothing to get a pass rusher. I do think that they're going to be still proactive. I don't think this is going to be the end of it. So this will be a very interesting week to watch for the Jets. But once again, great job, Joe Douglas. Jets get a pass rusher for a 6th-round pick from the Houston Texans. So Jets being proactive, improving the pass rush. But once again, I don't think they're done. I think you're going to see another move before opening day to try to bolster this defensive line, maybe even the secondary, but really focusing on the defensive line. What are your thoughts on this trade? Do you love what Joe Douglas did? Was there a player that you would have rather had the Jets target? Or are you really excited about the Shaq Lawson deal like I am? I want to hear your comments below, Jets fans. Give me your reactions to this trade. Are there any other pass rushers out there or that could potentially be out there that you want to see this team target over the next week? Please let me know in the comments below. And if you're new to the channel, we're going to have a lot of great Jets content this year. So you're going to want to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of it. But until next time, I'm Nolan Rich, and this is Rich Sports Talk. Thank you so much for joining us.